What's poppin', y'all? One of the, I would say, premier conversations this week came out from the Joe Budden podcast. And this one, I know is going to create good discussion in the comments. I really treat this comment section like a forum. I be reading it all the time. I be reading your replies to each other. Well, I don't be reading it all the time, but I take blocks of time to read and keep myself updated on it. And the topic was Joe Budden giving his comments on Drake hanging around Sexy Red so much. And I can't play you guys the clip because Joe Budden, his people, they get busy. They be taking down those clips. But I'll sum it up for you. Joe Budden said, you guys really think Drake just likes hanging around Sexy Red all the time? Because he had her on a song of his. Then he was in the music video for that song when she gave birth. He was pretty much there for the birth of her kid. Is it even a son or a daughter? I don't even know. And one thing that someone made clear was that everyone came at Krishan, but Sexy Red literally dropped the baby, plopped it off like an egg, like a chicken lays an egg, and just left and hopped right back outside immediately after. And nobody's criticizing her, which I don't criticize any of them. I kind of don't expect much out of them to have any type of criticism about that. Plus, I mean, Playboy Carti damn near abandoned his kid, and I don't really care about that either. So I'm fair in that department. He also was in her recent music video that Aiden was in. So Sexy Red quote tweets it and says, "They so dumb." And then she posts again on Twitter, and she said, "Tell at Joe Budden this what Drake like." And I'm not going to post a clip for you guys, but it's pretty much her performing. Drake brought her out to do her verse on the song they have together at one of his sold-out shows. And I think Joe Budden is right here, but not in the way that he's putting out. And I think Joe Budden knows that too. Because Drake is just at a level where you can't pay somebody to do something that they don't want to do at that level. So if Drake was getting paid off of Sexy Red, which I don't think he is, and he didn't want to hang out with her, he'd be having to get paid such an exorbitant amount for it to make sense. And it has to somewhat not harm him too. So let's say Jake Paul was rapping, right? Which Jake Paul is a way better rapper than KSI. KSI garbage. But let's say Jake Paul was rapping. Even if you were to pay Drake, let's say like $100 million, the look and the stain that would leave on Drake's brand wouldn't be worth it to him. And he'd likely decline. However, with Sexy Red, I guess it's a different story. She is lit now, and I will give you guys why I don't think he's getting paid to hang out with her. I think he kind of sees her as like comic relief. I think he finds her entertaining. But Drake was kicking it with Blockboy JB, and that made way less sense than Sexy Red does. What I do think Sexy Red was supposed to be, or who Sexy Red was supposed to be before, was, if you guys remember, Ice Spice. Because when Munch had dropped, it was bubbling. Drake, if you guys remember, he flew out Ice Spice to Toronto, and a lot of pages started picking that up. It started doing the rounds. It wasn't like that viral. But then she came back and he either unfollowed her, something happened. People made their own rumors. But Ice Spice continued to blow up, and Drake distanced himself from her afterwards. You can speculate as to why. I'm not really into speculating that far because people will say, oh, like they had some sort of personal relationship that didn't work out, or like Drake wanted a hit or something like that. But if they were still cool, don't you think Drake would be kicking it with Ice Spice a lot? I think he would, and I think that's what he planned on doing, and I think he saw the trajectory that Ice Spice was on. I don't know if he expected Ice Spice to still be here in the game right now the way that she is, but Ice Spice is more marketable, bigger than Sexy Red, and has more wide of an appeal. Like Sexy Red, she's never chilling with Taylor Swift, ever. They're not even letting Sexy Red into the same building as Taylor Swift. It's just not happening. And if it was just getting this quote-unquote demographic, then you would think that Drake would have kicked it with Glorilla as much when she was first popping out and doing her thing. Or maybe he saw that he missed that wave of Glorilla, so he decided to hop on Sexy Red. But I think there is something about her that Drake just messes with in terms of a professional level and just a personal relationship. Like, oh yeah, she's cool. I imagine Sexy Red is not unpleasant to be around as an acquaintance if you want some comic relief. And she's lit right now. She's popping. And I don't think you need any more explanation than the fact that she's popping. Drake is a serial wave rider. Surfer. I'll say surfer, not wave rider, because that kind of has a bad connotation to it where it's like, hey, this person just sees something that's lit, hops on it, rides it till it's gone, and then hops on to the next one, which is exactly what Drake's done. But I don't want to make it seem like it's something negative. I actually think it's a positive trait. and support that trade. That's how you stay relevant for such a long time. Ye has kind of done that too, except he won't just hop on something. He'll be like, hey, come in here and we're going to use you to make something for me. And I'm going to take credit for it. Well, he will still like pay homage, but if you guys remember when I think it was Good Fridays were going on, that's when Chief Keef had Don't Like, and then Ye got Keef on Don't Like remix with Pusha T and the other, I was about to say Glow Gang, and the other Good Music people, and he dropped that remix, and that remix went crazy. It just was out of here. But Ye got credit for like, yo, he discovered quote unquote Chief Keef, although Chief Keef was already popping, but he caught that wave. And that's something that Drake has been doing for the better part of 10 years. He hopped on the Big Sean wave. He hopped on the Migos wave. I wouldn't say he all the way went in with Kodak Black. He hopped on the UK wave. He hopped on the dance hall wave. He hopped on the Block Boy JB kind of Memphis-ish wave. He didn't hop on Dirk wave, but he saw that Dirk was bubbling and getting up there, and he gave Dirk a huge alley-oop, and that worked in favor of both of them. They had that huge song, Laugh Now, Cry Later. I don't think this makes conspiracy theory, really. I can see why people think that, but I wouldn't think that he got paid. There would have to be some other incentive. But what can you really incentivize Drake with other than remaining culturally relevant and at the forefront of whatever the next hot thing is? And I did find it odd that he was just an appearance on her music video, which is something that we rarely see, but we saw it on Oprah's bank account. But did Drake give him the feature on Oprah's bank account? I think Drake did give Yachty the feature there. Yeah, it was Lil Yachty, Drake, and DaBaby. But look at that. Drake is always hanging around Lil Yachty now. Drake gave Lil Yachty a feature back in Oprah's bank account, which was in 2020. So why is Drake always hanging around Lil Yachty? Why was Drake always hanging around with YK Osiris? YK Osiris definitely wasn't paying him. That's for sure. He definitely wasn't getting paid off YK Osiris. That guy still hasn't dropped music. After dropping such a great song to come into the game with. Man, some people and their talent, well, we don't know what he's got going on in his personal life, but you must have a mess going on to not drop another song and to owe these people all of this money. So we've seen Drake kick it with a bunch of people, and I don't think there's anything that is a better explanation, or there may be better explanations that are more entertaining and salacious, but I think Drake just likes kicking it with people that he enjoys kicking it with, and that may help him one way or another. So Yachty's offering them some sort of value that he can take from it, and people are saying that Yachty had his hands all over the 21 and Drake project, and we don't know about this last project, but apparently Yachty helped out on that one. And Sexy Red, their song is pretty big. She's lit right now. She's continuing to get more and more popular. She's not slowing down anytime soon. The engagement around her on social media is really high. So Drake just kind of being around her just lifts him up on social media even more and keeps him talked about without him having to do too much. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys think I'm tripping and Joe Budden's right? Drake's getting paid off of her? Because realistically, the amount that they would have to pay Drake is more than Sexy Red has made in her whole career and making her entire career for it to even make sense for him. But let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.